Found my husband and little sister in bed together. My 22F, husband 22M, and I had what I thought to be the most amazing, healthy, and happy marriage. We have been together a little over 2 years, but have known each other 7. We met in high school, but never dated. I have a young son. His bio dad is what you would call a deadbeat. My husband stepped up and has been his father since he was 4 months old. My son and family absolutely adore my husband. He reminds everyone of my father who passed 4 years ago, suddenly of a heart attack. On our living room floor, my family and husband became extremely close super fast. My husband and I started trying for a baby a couple months after we started dating, but sadly didn't end up conceiving our son until 15 months after we started trying. Dealing with infertility was extremely bad for me. I spent a lot of time crying into my husband's chest after about the 7th negative pregnancy test in a row. We were elated when we found out I was pregnant with our 2nd son last November. Global situation happened and put a bit of a damper on my pregnancy. So I had my younger sister, 18F, over to our apartment a lot to keep me company while my husband worked long hours due to global situation. My siblings and I, there are 4 of us, are all extremely close, but my little sister and I are by far the closest out of all our siblings. I basically raised her after my mom abandoned us to go and live with her boyfriend 2 months after our father died. Would do anything for her at the drop of a hat and would defend her and be on her side no matter what. One weekend in April, my husband decided to unwind and have a drink for the first time in almost a year. He is pretty straight-edged. My little sister was over, so I went out and bought some wine for her to drink so they could have fun a drink together, since I was pregnant and obviously couldn't drink with him, while we all played games and watched movies. It started getting late and I was tired, so I went to bed. I woke up around 1 a.m. and didn't see my husband in bed next to me, so I got up to go see if he was maybe playing video games still. I didn't bother putting my glasses on. When I got out to the living room, I saw with my extremely blurred vision him standing bent over her while she was laying on the couch. They were both clothed, but I made me feel extremely uneasy and sick to my stomach. I asked what they were doing and my husband said he was talking to her. I backed to the bathroom and started crying, but just thought was being ridiculous and hormonal and tried pushing it to the back of my head. Only I couldn't. The memory consumed my every thought and was driving me insane. But I didn't have proof that anything had happened and I didn't actually see them doing anything, so again, I just told myself that I was being crazy and that they would never do something like that to me, especially not while heavily pregnant. My husband started to become increasingly distant and just plain nasty to me, seemingly always finding something to fight with me about, not showing me any attention or affection, or which was extremely out of character and unlike him. I brushed it off as him being stressed about the new baby. My husband and I bought our first home in May, and I wanted all of our rooms painted before we moved in. My husband agreed, and my sister offered to help him. Fast forward to July, after 3 months of feeling like something just wasn't and that my marriage was failing. I woke up one Monday morning 9 months pregnant to an empty bed, my husband nowhere in sight. My little sister had spent the night. I put in my contacts and then went into the living room to see if he was up playing with the new kitten we had gotten the night before. No sign of him. My stomach dropped. The door to my unborn child's nursery was open where my little sister, was sleeping. My heart sank. My feet felt like cement blocks, but I slowly started stepping into the room only to find my husband on his knees in our unborn son's nursery, administering oral to my baby sister. I knew it. "Get out of my home," were the first words out of my lips. I'll never forget the expressions on their faces. I was devastated and terrified. I rushed to our master bathroom and simply stood there stunned. When my husband walked in and attempted to speak to me, I threw everything within reach at him and ordered him to leave me alone. I pushed past it because he didn't. The rest of it is a haze and I don't recall much of it. Except for concealing his keys so he could drive her back to my mother's place, he ended up doing so anyways. I'm still humiliated and crushed, but I can't bring myself to leave him, no matter how disgusted, hurt, and devastated I am. I've only spoken to my sister a few times trying to figure out how she could do something like that to me of all people. Neither of them has an answer, and they haven't had one practically every time she's been over and I've gone to bed. I have no desire or need to be in a relationship with my sister. I honestly believe she owes me more devotion than anybody else on the globe. How can I recover from the ultimate betrayal by the 2 people I care about the most? Edit. Just to clarify of any misunderstandings, my spouse did not groom her or exploit her. She has said that it was entirely voluntary. Both my husband and her have said that there were no romantic sentiments involved. Simply said. I should also mention that my younger sister has a long history of sleeping with mature guys, but I never imagined she'd go so far as to sleep with my husband. By stating this, I'm not taking any of the pressure off of him. Currently, a guy 27, is in jail for having an affair with her in the back of his vehicle when she was 15 years old. Also, the dude's name was the same as our elder brother's. She simply has significant problems. I discovered she'd been playing with my toys when I was at work a few years ago. She's insane and has boundaries. Problems clearly creep me out, so I toss them away. But once again, I had no idea she'd attempt to destabilize my marriage or connection with me. She also has a very special place in my son's heart. I'm not sure why she risked damaging it. To be honest, I'm perplexed. Now let's go for story 2. Found nudes in my husband's phone forwarded to his secret email account. It's difficult to even write this. My spouse and I have been married for 5 years and have been together for 6. I've never had cause to think he was cheating on me, but throughout the years he'd make passing remarks about accusing me of cheating. I've never cheated or even considered leaving our marriage. Fast forward a few days, it was my HP birthday, and we hadn't get down in a few months since I had just had a kid and was anxious about how my body had changed. So I dressed up in some lingerie and he just laughed and said, "I can't. I'm exhausted." As terrible as that blow was to me, it immediately made me suspect he was cheating. He hasn't been very loving or attentive to me recently. I work full-time as a night shift registered nurse and he works from home. He goes out with friends most evenings I'm at work, and I'm not sure where he goes. His friends are single people who hook up with girls have over at their places on a regular basis, but he's always denied being there when that occurs. So after the birthday party, I decided to go through his phone, and it was spotless. Except for some sent emails, he had 2 forwarded messages to a secret email I didn't know he had with 3 nude pictures of a female and another email with him posing with a girl wearing a dildo. All of the photos were dated 2014. However, he sent them in June 2019. I know that's his email since it has his name on it. He isn't logged in on his phone. He is clearly hiding and saving them on purpose. Could someone please offer me some suggestions on what I should do? I was considering confronting him and demanding to see email. Do you have any suggestions? Now look at some opinion. Everyone who says it's just trophies, etc. I'd respond to everyone, but it's a lot. Lol. When we initially became serious, we both cleared out our phones of images, social media, and other items that made him unhappy. Well, I really failed to save one image of my ex on my laptop, and he genuinely freaked out, screaming, "How would you feel if you discovered pictures or movies like these on my phone?" And it actually made me feel so bad, and it was honestly my fault. Only to discover that he's been doing it on purpose the whole time, hiding in emails I don't have access to, despite having access to all of my emails, phones, social media, and so on. It's a limit he set and decided to violate knowing how it would affect me. That is my problem. Not to mention the other stuff, but when he saved these images in 2019, I believe we were okay. I take a step back and do some covert reconnaissance. If you confront him, you may increase the OP security, and your element of surprise will be lost. Cheaters take advantage of the gap between perception and reality. Do not allow them to control you. Instead, trust and follow your instincts. But double-check. Don't spend the rest of your life wondering whether you've been duped. I wish you the best of luck and success. This is why I've come here. Investigate it. Follow your instincts. In my experience, if something seems off, it nearly usually is. Good luck, and I genuinely hope and pray that it proves to be completely innocent. He's most likely utilizing a different phone or a laptop to access the second email address. Look for any old phones or laptops that are laying around. Regrettably, he may be using one in his workplace or a friend's residence.